So I have to go NLT, and that'll give you my level of where I'm at, right? So we're going to do Proverbs 31, and this is the saying of King Lemuel. The sayings of King Lemuel contain this message, which his mother taught him. O my son, O son of my womb, O son of my vows, do not waste your strength on women, on those who ruin kings. It is not for kings, O Lemuel, to guzzle wine. Rulers should not crave alcohol. For if they drink, they may forget the law and not give justice to the oppressed. Alcohol is for the dying, and wine for those in bitter distress. Let them drink to forget their poverty and remember their troubles no more. Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Ensure justice for those being crushed. Yes, speak up for the poor and helpless and see that they get justice. And then he talks about, she talks about a wife of noble character, and then it goes on to say, who can find a virtuous and capable wife? She is more precious than rubies. Her husband can trust her, and she will greatly enrich his life. She brings him good, not harm, in all the days of her life. She finds wool and flax and busily spins it. She's like a merchant's ship bringing her food from afar. She gets up before dawn to prepare breakfast for her household and plan the day's work for her servant girls. She goes to inspect a field and buys it. With her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She is energetic and strong, a hard worker. She makes sure her dealings are profitable. Her lamp burns late into the night. Her hands are busy spinning thread, her fingers twisting fiber. She extends a helping hand to the poor and opens up her arms to the needy. She has no fear of winter for her household, for everyone has warm clothes. She makes her own bedspreads. She dresses in fine linen and purple gowns. Her husband is well known at the city gates, where he sits with the other civic leaders. She makes belted linen garments and sashes to sell to the merchants. She is clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. And when she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instruction with kindness. She carefully watches everything in her household and suffers nothing from laziness. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. There are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceptive, and beauty does not last, but a woman who fears the Lord will greatly be praised. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise. Amen, right? That's quite a woman. You know, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say that probably meets all of the women in this room, right? Pretty sure that's all of you. So that's a common passage, the Proverbs 31. There's ministries, there's Bible studies. There's like Proverb 31 Facebook pages. I mean, it's everywhere out there. It's pretty common. My wife was doing a Bible study one time on Proverbs 31, and she came home, and she really didn't talk about it much because I think she felt like she wasn't living up to some of these standards. And I'm like, goodness, I don't know that that's all, bad. But anyway, so this is an oracle, they would say, or an uttering. It talks about an uttering, which is a mom talking to her son, right? And this son is a young king in here. And the very beginning of this, when she's talking to him, I just imagine this, maybe a college-age son, right? Or a college-age king, and she's saying, okay, don't worry about women, don't worry about them, don't go out drinking, don't do all these things. And he's probably, can you imagine the eye rolls? This college-age student going, oh, mother, yes, I get it. Thank you. Got it. All right. I'm going to listen to that, right? So anyway, so we go on, and she's talking about two things. One is what a king should be, and a little bit of what a king shouldn't be, which is probably the part that he was listening to. And then what a bride should be, or a woman. I'm going to even say a mother in this instance. So does anybody remember the David Letterman top 10 list? Remember those when he would do that? So I made a top 10 list of characteristics that I pulled from this. There's a lot of them in there, but I thought 10 was plenty because we only have an hour and a half to do this. So so I'm going to fire through these 10. Verse 10 talks about she has value. She's worth more than rare gems, right? That's everybody in here. Okay. How about verse 11? She is trustworthy. Verse 15 talks about she's a faithful steward. Then it goes on, she says she bears fruit. She keeps her lamp shining. In 18, it's talking about she's a planner. She's thinking ahead. She has wisdom. She helps the poor and the needy. She's clothed in the armor of strength. And then 26, she is wise. I don't know why they say wisdom and wise twice in here, but maybe there's something to that. And then it says she's not idle, and she is blessed. And I think about that, and I go through those characteristics, and I think about those. I'm like, wow, that's quite a bride. That's quite a mom. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. So I thought, you know what? There's a lot of moms in the Bible. I thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun to go back and look at some of these moms? So what I did is, has anybody seen the new Avengers movie? Anybody? None of you have seen the new Avengers? You've seen it, haven't you? Just bits and pieces of it. It's called Avengers Game. It's the last one, and I thought, it'd be fun, because moms are kind of superheroes, right? So I'm titling today's theme, it's Avengers Mom Game. And so I don't know who these moms are, but we're going to say that those are 6 moms out of the Bible. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through 6 moms and kind of see what they went through, and then we're going to jump back into this and talk about it a little bit more. So the first one is Eve. All right, the original mom, the mom of all moms, right? She was the mom to Cain and Abel and Seth, and it says sons and daughters. I looked up one thing because I let my wife look at this. She goes, Cain, Abel, and Seth. And I go, and yeah, it's like, so we did the Google search. How many children did Adam and Eve have? And it said 5. I have 5. Okay, it said Cain, Abel, Seth, other daughters, and other sons. I'm like, well, that's 5. Okay, whatever. So anyway, but Eve kind of gets a bad rap, right? She gets a bad rap because we think of Eve, the apple and all that, and all that stuff, or the fruit. And I'm thinking, I'm pretty sure the only reason she was the one that ate of the fruit first is because Adam probably couldn't remember where it was, right, in the garden. He was like, I don't know, it's somewhere around here. But she knew. And so she kind of gets a bad rep, but you have to think of a lot of the things that Eve had to do that no other mom has ever had to do. Like, she didn't have a mom of her own to talk about teething and, potty training and all that stuff, whether I use pelt or leaf diapers. It's like she had no idea. But she didn't have a mother-in-law either to tell her she was doing it wrong. So that's kind of, but her sons were involved in the first homicide in the Bible. So I don't know. She had some good, she had some bad, but I think that she meets a lot of these characteristics from Proverbs 31. How about Sarah? Sarah's Isaac's mom. She will give hope to women starting a little later in life to having kids, right? I mean, she tried, but her biological clock was a little behind the rest of the people around her, And God promised Abraham was going to be a father of many nations, right? So, hey, automatically she's going to be the mother of many nations. So that's pretty cool. But things weren't happening, so what'd she do? She gives up Hagar, the assistant, to be her stunt double, right? Kind of fill in, and that didn't work out so well because it wasn't the child, right, that she was supposed to have. So, and I think that she kind of lacked a little trust in God when she laughed. Said, no, you're going to be a mom. And she kind of laughed at that. And so, but things worked out for them. How about another one? How about Rebecca? Does anybody remember who Rebecca's kids were? I have it, Jacob and Esau. All right? Now, have any of you moms ever had a favorite child? No, you're all going to say, but no. But I know every one of you is thinking of that favorite child right now. So I know it wasn't the middle child. That was me. It definitely was not the middle child. Oh. Anyway, no. So she definitely had her favorite. She was really, really big on Jacob. Jacob was her little man, and her husband, Isaac, he loved Esau because he was kind of a countryman. And so this goes down in history as one of the biggest dupes between a wife and husband ever until yesterday. Okay, can I be honest with you? Have you ever felt like your wife just pulled something over on you and was like, how did this even happen? Okay, I'm going to share a little story about something. I'm still a little worked up about this morning. So we have at home a crazy household. Right, my wife and I, we have 4 boys. Ethan, he's not here. He's usually here with me. He's 15. Zeke is 13. Levi is 8. And Maverick is 4. And so we have a wide range. We have a crazy house. My wife is working 2 jobs. I'm working, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4. It seemed like, so we just have a crazy household. And so yesterday, my second oldest had baseball tournaments all day. I was done coaching. I got to go home and work on some notes for this today. My oldest was working at Ken's Pizza. The 2 littles were at Grandma and Grandpa's. Lindsay was finishing up at the church and then coming over, and we were just going to go have a nice dinner. And it was taking her a while to get home from the church. I'm thinking, where are you? What are you? And all she texted back was, I'll be there in a bit. I thought, that's kind of odd. Well, maybe she had to run to the store. And so she comes home, and she has something behind her hand when she walks in. I'm thinking, oh, this might be kind of fun. We're going to go have dinner. Maybe she has something, somewhere we're going to go nice, a gift certificate. She pulls out a little 6-week kitten. Now, I'm allergic to cats. Cats tear up things. I just don't like cats, right? And I've told her we've been married maybe 100 to 150 times, no, we will not ever have a cat, right? So, have you done that before? What is with you? Why would you do? I'm like, what? I thought I found a suitable mate, but now I'm starting to question this, right? And the last time I said no to something like this, the 16-month-old dog we have, I said no to that before I went to Haiti and came back and we had a dog. So am I losing control of my house? I have no idea what's going on, but should I be concerned? I'm like, I have lost the strength in my own home. I am nothing now. It means nothing. Anyway, I don't know what that has to do with anything. Oh yeah, she duped me. And I'm concerned about it because I don't know what's next. Please, not another child. Okay, anyway. So we have Rebecca and Jacob. They had this scheme to get Esau's birthright, and yeah, they did. All right? We're going to move on because I'm still a little worked up from that today. Here's the worst part of it is with the dog, this little 16-month-old dog that just wants to play with it. It's a puppy kind of still, and this cat wants nothing to do with it, right? It's a good, Don't tell her it's a cute cat. Kind of a cute cat. Still don't like this cat. Anyway, and I'm upset. But I wake up this morning, and where do you think this cat is? This little kitten, about this little big, is all curled up next to me. And I go, you need to get out of here. And it's purring, and it's rolling. I reach over to move it, and it's with my hand up, and I open my eye to see if my wife's awake, if she sees what's going on. I'm playing with it, right? And then she wakes up and turns like, well, get out of here, Got to get that power back, right? It's like, hey, no cat. She said, yeah, that cat. I have a feeling that kitten's still going to be at my house when I get home, right? Yeah, they changed his name from Peanut to Theo. You can't change the cat's name. It's not staying. Anyway, see, I'm still worked up about this. I'm going to feed it to the dog. No, that's mean. It is. You know what? That's the thing. She said, it's my Mother's Day gift. That's all I wanted. I'll get you anything else but a cat. What do you want? Do you want a pony? Oh, yeah. I was like, I've given you everything you need, right, in life? Oh, goodness. Let's move on to Bathsheba. All right? We're going to talk about Bathsheba. She was the mother of Solomon, and we're going to talk about it. Now, Rebecca was a schemer, but Bathsheba and David, oh, my goodness, they were ruthless. This was really, really bad. She gets pregnant, has her husband killed. Maybe she's working on me. Is something going to happen to me? Anyway, all right, we don't really, Nathan calls out David, like, hey, he calls out, he repents. We really don't hear a whole lot about what happened to Bathsheba in that time, but they do have another son, and this one is after they are together and married, and this one is blessed, and Solomon became a great leader, and he's legendary for his wisdom, right? And so this kind of a mom gives hope to all those moms out there that are so concerned about their situations and their kids and stuff, and you never know who's sitting in that little high chair, right, with whatever it is, with sweet pea baby food running down their face. You're looking at them and going, this kid is a lost cause. And all right, none of your kids, but I've looked at my kids before and thought, man, I might be in trouble with this one. And we did have our oldest, what we did when he was 6 months old, we started sitting him in front of the TV, because that's what you do as a good parent. But no, we set him in front of videos of these signing time videos, which was an animated and very colorful video, and they teach babies sign language. And, at first I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't know if this really works, but he started doing the more and the please and the thank you. And we started to realize that he was really picking up on this. And we weren't going to we didn't really deal with the terrible twos, because one of the reasons they fuss and all that, they can't communicate. But he was able to communicate what he wanted. We didn't have the terrible twos. But one thing we noticed is we did some reading, and they said by the time a baby reaches the age of 2, or a child reaches the age of 2, they should be able to speak and understand about 250 words. And does that seem low to you? It seems high to you? Well, at 19 months, we did this little thing. We had this book of, just pictures after pictures after pictures. And we went through this big book that we had, and we counted, and Ethan, our oldest, at 19 months, he could say, he understood, and he could point and call out over 1,000 different items in a book. And he could sign language about 200 different things. And it was like, this kid is going to be a genius. And our dream came true, because he's 15 today and he knows everything and I know nothing. All right? That's what we figured out. The kid knows everything, and he is very quick to tell me that too, right? Oh, see the household I live in? I have no power. I'm the dumbest person in the house, and, no doesn't mean anything. Oh, yeah, I don't have a girl. Oh, can I just take a moment to just be thankful that I don't have to try and raise a girl in that house? Okay. Anyway, what number are we on? How about number 5? How about Jochebed? Ooh, does anybody know who Jochebed was? Anybody? Yeah, Moses and Aaron and Miriam, right? Now, Jochebed, she deserves like her own show on Lifetime for Women, right? She was a serious Avenger, like superhero. And we have to commend her on her civil disobedience, right? When she decided to go ahead and have Moses, and then just the thought process of going through that of the timing and planning, all the foresight of in the river and to send him down so that Pharaoh's daughter would see him, and then all that, and then she gets to nanny her own baby, right? That's kind of cool. And so right time at the right place, and so she was definitely an Avenger. I don't know, you can pick which one you want her to be. But they all look like young, happy moms, except for that one. She doesn't look happy. I'm going to say that's Bathsheba, because she was, not, I don't know, could have been, who knows. All right, move on. And then the 6th one I have is Mary. All right, Mary, Jesus' mom. Now, when Lindsay and I thought that we may be having a baby, that she may be pregnant, what do you have to do? You got to like pee on a stick, or go have an ultrasound like that. Mary had an angel that came and told her. I'm like, I didn't get an angel that came and told us. It's like we had to find out like everybody else. So anyway, so she had her very own angel, for an EPT. Isn't that what it's called? Early pregnancy test? Yeah, EPT. So anyway, but she still had to bear the concerns of the safety of her own life, because women having babies, pre-marriage in time, they get stoned. And so that was definitely a concern. And thank goodness Joseph got the same message from the angel, right? It's like, it's okay. Yes, she's going to have God's baby. And it's like, wow, she got to give birth to the divine gift of God. And so like many mothers, gifts do come with work, do they not? Like she had to change Jesus' diaper and potty train him, right? She had to do the teething thing. She had to teach him how to walk and talk. Had to kiss his skin knees, had to cook for him, clean up after him. And these are all, she had to do all the things that all mothers have to do for babies, and she had to do this for the God of the universe, which that seems a little stressful, because she knew from the very beginning, right, that the God of the universe was going to be in her hands, like, good luck, right? I'm like, that would be pretty stressful. That's a lot of pressure. And she does make some interesting cameos in the gospel, right? The 3 times that I wrote down were when she lost Jesus, right, in the temple. It's like, how do you lose the God of the universe? Like, they didn't have Amber Alert at that time. So it's going back, trying to find him. Oh, there he is, The wedding. Remember at the wedding, she says, do that thing, So that was time she showed up. That was an interesting story there. And then the crucifixion. And the interesting thing about the crucifixion and just the vision of a mother's love is, the disciples scattered. Man would turn their back on Jesus. They would walk away, but the mom never left, right? She stayed there. She had great years of excitement and joy, but there were a lot of years there of pain and distress. And so a lot of the things about her is the ultimate. She'd be like the hero in the story, right? Of moms, I think she would be one of the top heroes. So that's why I have this interesting. Now, I'll probably get sued if anybody, shows this to Marvel Studios. But so, I don't know if that's against the law or what, but whatever. We're having fun, right? So I got to thinking about this. I was writing down kind of these notes, and I was going through this Proverbs 31, and I was laying in bed. This was about 2:30 one morning. I woke up and I sat up in bed. I went, oh. And we went through a long time. John went through Epiphany, right, about the epiphanies and things like that. And I had one of these, oh, my goodness. And I got to thinking about this. I said, these 6 moms of the Bible were all these characteristics. I'm thinking about the Proverbs 31. I thought, wait a minute. You ever get one of those thoughts like, well, is the Lord speaking to me, or is it just digestion? What is it? I'm thinking, I had this thought, and it's like, what if Proverbs 31 wasn't necessarily talking about just brides and women? What if it's talking about something else? And you guys probably have learned this, but I didn't know this. It's like, what if it's something more? What if if it's like talking about something else? What if it's, it means something? Take the physical and the spiritual and all that stuff, and we combine it. And so I jumped at 2:30 morning, and I'm Google searching with one eye because I'm half asleep. And this is pre-cat, so, I didn't have that thing messing with me. And so I'm Google searching, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm starting to find some stuff. Even Paul, he's characterizing the church as a mother. And I'm like, wait a minute. And so I start digging into this, and I find this quote from Saint Cyprian. He was a bishop from the 3rd century, and he says, no one can have God as father who does not have the church as mother. I thought, that is interesting. So I went back, and I'm looking at, kind of some of these notes, and I'm like, wow, there's all these different kind of characters, this top 10 list. I'm like, yeah, this is a mother, this is a bride, right? But this is also the church, right? And so what it is, what if we substituted the word she with church? And so I went back through this, and it's in verse 10. The church has value. All right? It's worth more than rare gems. The church is trustworthy. All right? How about the church is a faithful steward? The church bears fruit. The church keeps her lamp shining. They plan ahead, right? The church helps the poor and the needy. The church is clothed in the armor of strength. The church is wise. The church is not idle. The church is blessed. Again, I think you guys have probably studied this and learned this. You've heard this, and it was, for me, I was like, wow, this is mind-blowing to me. And so instead of just letting that lay, I thought, no, wait a minute. What about this king? The king that she's talking to, maybe there's something to do with that. So I started digging in. I'm like, oh, my goodness. If the church is described in the same way, then we have to look at who's the king, right? And we talk about the king is the foreshadowing of Jesus to come, right? And so looking in 1 through 9, it says requirements of the king. It's the perfect king to come, a king who would not be overcome by wealth, women, or wine, but instead who would overcome sin and death. I'm like, well, that's fitting. How about a king who would, while perishing, refuse wine to ease distress, but instead endure the full cup of God's wrath? I'm like, wow. And then a king that would not only speak up for the mute, but instead would give speech to the mute. And a king who would judge justly and defend the rights of the poor. See, Christ isn't looking for the kind of bride being described in the verses that followed that. He's creating and bringing his bride to perfection. And I thought, man, how beautiful is that? And so, of course, after through this and all that, I'm thinking, I've got to text John. He's not going to believe this, right? And so I'm texting John all this stuff. And he goes, oh, yeah, we've already studied that. What? I told you what I was going to be talking about, and you didn't. He goes, oh, congratulations. You just had one of those epiphanies, and you figured it out on your own. Great. I thought, this is for me then. All right. And so I was far enough into it, I'm like, I can't start over now, so we're just going to go with it, right? And so that's why I thought I'd bring it to you guys and not necessarily recreate something. I know you guys have studied this, but just to bring that out and to share that. And it's like, this is pretty important stuff, right? We take that physical over the spiritual, and we can see some things that there's some pretty cool stuff in here. And so kind of wrapping that up. Moms, where's our moms? Raise your hand if you're a mom. Oh, moms, you are a gift. Where's our brides? Who's a bride in here? Same, yeah? If you're a bride, a wife, somebody's wife, yeah, you are a gift. Guys, they're gifts, okay? I'm sure we're gifts, all right? I thought I was, and evidently I'm just whatever. So God has given us all gifts, not to only be in the church, but to be church. So we get to be trustworthy, faithful stewards, bear fruit, keep our lamps shining, help the poor, clothe, armored in strength, be wise, to be idle, and to be blessed. And so with that, I say, happy stinking Mother's Day. Oh, yeah, happy Mother's Day. How are we doing? Are you doing okay back there? All right. Oh, that cat. I'm going to bring the cat to you guys, and then you can decide who gets the cat. How about that? I should have brought the cat today. That would have been a good visual. Yeah. Oh, I would have been in so much trouble. Oh. Okay. Let's pray. Father, I thank you so much for Proverbs 31.